Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday night.
Sunday,
This is our SummerSlam review.
SummerSlam night, last
And
night.
when you're listening to the audio version of this will be after the prediction show, all in one day.
Hmm.
The magic of editing.
Yes.
And with us, we have our man Andrew. What's going on, man?
Ah, great SummerSlam. Excellent. Really excited to see. We all know who. Right back. Uh,
OTC?
oh, I want that shirt. I
OTC.
took me a couple seconds to figure what the hell he meant by that. What the hell it meant. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? They were like, oh yeah, original tribal chief. It's fantastic. I really want that shirt. I like
Sorry,
those.
I have my son in the background
Yep,
acknowledging the Tribal Chief.
absolutely. Came back last
Uh,
night.
so so yeah, so let's just go through this match by match because there's a lot to talk about on this show.
Yeah. So
So
we
first match was Liv and Rhea.
I just want,
Um,
yeah, I want to say something right now about this. I think Rhea's become like the queen of fucking like almost big event like matches to open up. But like she did now WrestleMania, open WrestleMania up, and then she opened up SummerSlam this time too. Like,
yeah, so like I like this opening, especially with how it ended. So fun fact,
yeah,
during the match, Rhea kicked out of Oblivion. No
yeah,
one has ever kicked out of Oblivion, ever.
mhm,
Um, So she's the first to kick out of that,
yeah,
only for, Dom to take the chair. And then after Dom took the chair and reminded her, hey, you can't win the title back like this, slides it back into the ring, distracts the referee. And I thought it was so that Rhea could use it, but it was instead for Liv to hit Oblivion a second time on Rhea, except this time on the chair. And Liv retains. We were both wrong on this.
no,
Um,
I said Liv was going to retain. You said,
oh, were you?
yeah, I said Liv
Okay.
was going to retain, but I said Dom was going to screw over Rhea.
So, um, anyways, after the match, Dom Dom picked up Liv
Yeah,
and just planted a big old kiss,
yeah, that was interesting.
officially cementing the turn. And so I had my neighbor, my new neighbor, just came over, and this was the first event he'd watched in many years. And so, um, this we all saw coming. Dom turning on Rhea. Um, and that wasn't the first indication of the end of the Judgment Day
No, it wasn't.
that happened on this show, and we'll get to the other part in a few minutes. But
Well, I thought it was a good match though, Rhea versus Liv.
oh yeah, great opener, and I loved how Rhea sold like a separated shoulder,
I did, yeah. You really put her shoulder to that table.
and then herself, like her Hulk up was her putting the shoulder back into
Yeah,
place. That was awesome. And
yeah.
I think what this does is it keeps Dom heel because no one wants to cheer Dom,
No,
but it solidifies Rhea as babyface.
yeah. I think like this is a good step towards for Rhea and Liv. Like, I mean, I called it in the yeah. So like Rhea being this babyface now is like she's bigger than like she's be bigger than everybody else in the women's division. So it's a good smart move for this one too. Dom and Liv now are gonna be probably the most hated duo within in the past what 10 years, but the most hated people, two of the most hated people in the past ten
This has
years.
Edge Lita vibes all over
Oh,
it, doesn't it?
100% it does. It really does. I
Oh,
mean, like it has 100% Edge Lita vibes on it, except it's reversed now. It's just reversed. So it's like no more Matt Hardy. It's just. I mean, granted, this wasn't a real life couple, but still. So
so After that, we had Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker, and it finally happened, ladies and
It finally
gentlemen.
did, absolutely. Like, it took
Uh,
the pay-per-view.
Braun Breaker was crowned the new Intercontinental Champion.
Yep.
Good match, and I like the callbacks of like certain spots they did in the Money in the Bank match,
Yeah.
where there was reversals,
I found this was very
and
I found this also very fast. I found it was quicker match compared to like their 4 Money in Bank.
yeah, probably a little bit quicker, but
Yeah.
I think that again, Braun hits a spear and then gets up and hits a super spear
Yeah.
to pick up the win. And um yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Now,
I think maybe Dragonov, maybe down the road at Berlin.
now I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of the press conference stuff.
I did,
Um,
but I missed Braun Breaker and I missed Triple H.
so Braun Breaker basically he gave props to Sami Zayn and everything. Like he gave a lot of props to Sami Zayn and for all the help that he's done and all the things that he's accomplished. It's almost like he got like a pseudo baby face turn right there. The thing. Now we'll see obviously what happens on Monday with
Hmm.
everything, but he almost got like a pseudo baby face turn at the press at more like an interview, a segment like with Jackie Redmond and Big E and Wade
Yeah, yeah,
Barrett.
yeah.
So, but it's almost like a little bit of a baby face. So I'm wondering to see how it's going to happen. What's going to happen there on Raw? Now I'm assuming he's still going to be kind of a heel on Raw, considering Dragunov is a pretty decent baby face right now. But I'm wondering though too if you could turn Dragunov heel and see what happens that way.
I think Dragunov's style, I think he's more like a Sami Zayn in the sense of like he fights from underneath a lot,
Yeah,
and you can't really have that as a heel.
no, you can't. But
Uh,
let me see. Well, though,
Braun's still a really good heel, and I think Dragunov will be a good foil for him.
yeah, I thought this is
And
definitely like a
at least
crowning for him.
solidifies the reign type deal.
Yeah, this is definitely a crowning for Braun Breaker as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
now after that, though,
Um,
we had LA Knight versus Logan Paul.
yeah,
Uh, it ceases to amaze me how a guy like Logan Paul, who
how
really
much of a
doesn't
piece of
need
shit he is.
personal opinions aside, I don't really care about that. But I guess I don't. Will you personal opinions are personal feelings,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it speaks to me that a guy who, let's be honest, doesn't need to be in the WWE. He doesn't. There's no
No,
there's no way he has to be. But the things that he does he does in the WWE to entertain people and his athleticism alone is quite amazing,
yeah.
right? Like that top rope flip that he did was pretty astounding.
Oh, the SIE moonsault.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was sick.
that was pretty cool.
Um, so he was also accompanied to the ring by MGK,
Big whoop.
um, another Cleveland boy,
Yeah,
uh, who
Chris
got involved
Berman.
later in the match
Yes,
where
he did.
he had the brass knucks as a pendant on his necklace and
Yeah,
handed them to Logan Paul, who clipped LA Knight. And as Logan Paul went for the kill, LA Knight turned it into a BFT and picked up the win.
that
Although
was fast.
I was saying
That was a
to my
fast BFT
neighbor,
too.
it
Yeah.
looked like Logan Paul's foot was under the rope, but they seemed to ignored it.
Yeah, I kind of saw that too a little bit. I hadn't noticed that. Like, oh, it looks like his toes on the rope, but yeah, they probably just ignored it.
Yeah,
I just,
they called no attention to it, so I'm
yeah,
assuming it's going to be a non-factor going forward.
unless that's your excuse for Logan Paul rematch,
Well,
probably in
that would be the
Berlin.
only thing I
Yeah,
could think of is
yeah,
that's your play for a rematch.
yeah,
But they didn't mention it on
yeah.
commentary. They didn't show specific replays showing the foot.
No, they didn't. Uh,
Um,
it's nice to see someone like Eli Drake finally get his due in WWE, considering how long he's been there now, and finally get a title, a legitimate title. That's not the $1 million title. So it's
well,
and I think
exactly.
and
And
he's gonna hold that thing. I think for quite a for. I think he's gonna hold it for a few months for sure.
he's been one of the biggest guys in the company for a year and a half now,
Yeah,
and well, at least a solid year.
yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And so like yeah, this is like the start. He's
Yeah,
I saw someone today make a Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah,
Started rising out of the mid card in his early 40s
yeah,
and super charismatic baby face.
yeah. Because he was a long time TNA guy,
DDP, yeah, DDP, like
and
DDP
D.
back when he just shot through.
Well, yeah, like, everybody forgets too that DDP drove the Cadillac, which was his pink Cadillac at WrestleMania 6 in Toronto.
Right, but he didn't do
So
anything involving wrestling after that
yeah,
for a couple of years,
he was
and
he
he
was
was
a
a manager.
started manager, and then he ended up well,
95 was when he finally got in the ring, but he
yeah,
was like 36 at the time.
yeah, started late.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fine. Moving on, Bayley, Nia Jax. The only thing of note here is they teased the cash in with Tiffany Stratton, but it just proved to be a distraction.
Yeah,
To allow Nia to get the upper hand. She hit Bayley kicked out of the Annihilator.
she did. First person to
Um,
do it.
and but Nia put down two more Annihilators and finally put Bayley away. So Nia Jax is now the women's champion.
Yeah, and I think she's gonna hold that belt for a little bit. I don't see her losing that. I mean, unless she gets cashed in on by Tiffany Stratton, which I can see happening when that happens. But I think she might hold it for a bit. Just be, as a congratulations, you've done such a great job since you've come back, and like what a difference it was.
Absolutely.
And she did, like, at the press conference. They noted too that a year ago, this time a year ago, she was not in the WWE. She
Yep.
was somewhere else. She was doing something else, and a lot's changed in the past year. So I mean, good for her. Like, I mean, I'm still not really a fan of Nia Jax to begin with, but you look at how her works changed, how her work ethics changed in the ring,
Seriously.
how much better
She's
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 gotten.
I
So
would say she's 100% better than the performer she was when she left in 2020.
absolutely, she was. I think she's much better.
Um,
She's slimmer. She is more cautious. She has learned a lot over the
yep.
time she has been gone. So I think sometimes,
Time away is good.
what was that?
I said sometimes time away is good.
Absolutely. Sometimes time away is a very good thing, and good for her.
Yep.
But we'll see what happens with her after that.
So Punk McIntyre with Rollins as the special referee.
Punk screwed Punk.
Punk screwed Punk.
Literally, he did the absolute. He literally did the reverse Drew McIntyre and screwed
We
himself.
actually got so I mentioned this on the prediction show. We actually got the SummerSlam 97 tees.
We did.
We did, except Punk or Rollins held up and he
Yeah.
didn't actually smash Punk.
Yeah.
But this match was basically it turned into about the bracelet.
It did. Although it was funny to note that too. Brett came out. Punk came out with an ode to Bret Hart with his attire too, the pink and black,
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
which
yeah.
was nice. It was that was really, really, really cool. But like,
You know
it
what?
came about a bracelet.
If you pay attention to CM Punk's gear, there's always some sort of reference involved.
Yeah, I know he's worn.
He's
Uh,
worn those tights before.
he has. He's one of those. He actually wore those tights during the Bret Hart. The Owen Hart tournament in AEW.
Okay.
He wore those there too. So it's like he is a Bret Hart guy. He's a Bret Hart fan. He loves
Mm-hmm.
Bret Hart, so it's well documented. So it's not surprised that he's done it. But the bracelet stuff, and Seth did play a role in this. He got GTS for his troubles.
Yeah, so basically, um, they were struggling over the bracelet, which fell onto the mat at some point, and Rollins picked it up, put it on just for safekeeping.
Which I
And
think was
when
a legitimate reason, although he probably could have put it in his pocket.
right, and when Punk came to, he noticed that Rollins was holding it,
Yeah,
and he got in Rollins' face and hit him with a GTS, but that was his downfall
yeah,
because McIntyre was waiting in the corner, hit him with a low blow, Claymore, and picked up the victory.
yeah.
Um,
We were wrong on
McIntyre
this
beats
one.
Punk.
I think, did you pick McIntyre? I know I picked Punk to win this one. I think. Maybe did you pick Punk as well?
I did pick Punk
I think Punk as
because
well. Yeah, we were kind of wrong in this one here.
I didn't think that they would beat him in his first singles match back, but
No,
they had a legitimate reason to.
yeah,
So
I think I'm not upset with the
they
outcome.
they told a good story in doing so.
I think Punk gets that win back at Bad Blood. Except like I remember in the predictions you said we both said that Punk will probably lose at Bad Blood. I think Punk now gets the win at Bad Blood, and they're gonna go. I think they're gonna push this for like probably another maybe Survivor Series or maybe somewhere
Oh,
else
this
down
will
the
go till
line.
October for sure.
Yeah. So and I
Um,
think you'll probably insert Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins will be somewhere in there as well. But Punk took a hell of a beating in this match though. Like Drew, for the most part, dominated the hell out of this match. It's almost at one
but you know
point
what? Punk got out of this healthy,
he did. Like he got out of it really healthy. I haven't heard anything
and he shared a nice
bad
moment with
about it.
Stephanie McMahon after.
I saw, yeah, he Stephanie was actually in the crowd.
Yep.
And he gave her a hug, which was, I mean, I don't know. I know there was ill will towards the old man. I didn't know if there was anything. Some people made big thing about it. I don't know if there's
I don't
ever
know.
anything was between her and between Stephanie and
I
Punk,
don't know, but
but
whatever. It seems to be all be buried now.
which is great. I mean,
I heard he's working towards a new extension too.
I've heard he wants to be with WWE the rest of his life. I know there's been talk with him about taking over eventually
Taking over
NXT for
NXT when
Shawn
Sean's
Michaels.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which you know what, I don't see it being a bad thing. If look, people change over time, despite what everything happened in AEW. That's AEW. That's
Mm-hmm.
also a place too where your own people like Kenny Omega are calling a lot of people a lot of things, and he's an EVP.
Oh,
So
I mean, to be fair, Kenny Omega came to Roman Reigns' defense in his group
I
chat about
I remember this.
2 months ago on his live stream.
I remember
He
this.
came to Roman Reigns' defense.
Yeah, I remember this. He said something
Um,
along the lines of something very, very positive how great Roman Reigns actually is.
oh yeah.
So, I mean, but Kenny's a student of just wrestling, right? He likes good wrestling. That's all it really is. Comes down to at the end of the day.
So
He's a fan, right?
so I have to get into this now because so after Dom turned, Priest
Okay.
was pissed.
Oh, he was absolutely furious, and he nearly tore Finn Balor's head off in the locker room.
Sent everybody to go find Dom, knowing to find Dom. Now, right before the world title match, Finn comes back and Dom must have left the building.
Yes, Priest
And
seemed to have cooled down at that point.
Finn and Damien both apologized to each other. They hug it out.
Yeah,
And I looked at my neighbor. I said, Balor's about to cost Priest the world title.
yeah,
Because that was like every TV or movie, like TV show or movie you've ever watched where
yeah.
you know that someone's about to die. Someone's about to get killed off,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
or there's a betrayal about to happen.
Yeah.
And it gave you that feel.
Mhm.
Now, when Priest's title reign started, it was going to be hard to make me care about Priest losing the title,
Yeah, because you were very adamant
that
that
Gunther
Priest
would
was
win.
no, you were very adamant that Priest was going to win, and I told you Gunther was going to win.
Right, but they made me care that Priest lost the title.
Okay,
Don't get me wrong. I'm okay. Like they're staying on track with Gunther. Cool.
yeah,
He's gonna headline Berlin as the world champion.
hmm
Fantastic. Okay.
yeah.
Finn Balor better run as far as he can and maybe not take a couple personal days and not show up to work for a couple of weeks because Damian Priest, when he gets his hands on Finn Balor, is going to kill him.
See, I'm a little torn as to like how the turn happened. I wasn't. I was expecting something a lot more out of it, not just throw Gunther's leg up onto the ropes. I'm expecting a little bit more, like physically, almost like behind the referee's back, assaulting him, kind of thing. That's kind of what I was more expecting. This was very tame compared to what I thought was going to happen. I'm still happy with the turn. My question is though, will the turn now? What Finn Balor am I going to get now? Are we going to get the one that was the in the end when we returned to NXT?
Oh yeah, you're
like
gonna get Prince.
like the Prince Devitt, because if that was a very good one. That was very
So
similar to his New Japan Bullet Club.
so if you
So
like, it wasn't just him putting Gunther's leg on the ropes. This is where WWE booked a smart babyface.
okay,
Priest watched the replay
I saw that
on the
part.
big
Yeah,
screen. It's such a small detail, but it plays so big.
yeah,
And Balor with that fucking grin of his.
yeah. He's got that real shit-eating grin.
Oh my God. And that like devilish, like, I got you.
Yeah,
And, you know, then it became Priest trying to get Balor, and Gunther took advantage. Priest even fought out of the sleeper hold just to grab Finn by the throat.
yeah. I think with
And
this, I think with
I think
Balor,
Damian was hurt by the fact that, like he was almost out, and Balor came down to, encourage him. And Balor was the only reason Damian got back in that match,
yeah,
only for Balor to turn on him,
hmm
which, now where does the Judgment Day go from here? I guess it's what, Priest and Ripley on their own, and everyone else goes their separate ways.
we'll have to find out on Raw on Monday because that's coming up. That will probably be the first segment on Raw. That or Gunther,
I would hope so.
one or the other.
Um, on
Let's
to the main event.
let's get on the main event. Before the main event, though, there was a small segment with the Miz and R-Truth and Jelly Roll, and they Jelly Roll choke slammed Austin Theory.
Great looking choke slam, by the way.
That was pretty good, actually. Just Austin Theory really knows how to sell. And once again, Grayson Waller throws Austin Theory under the bus.
That turn's coming sooner or later.
Oh, it's got to be coming very soon. I'm getting very irritated by it at this point. Uh, Main event time. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa. We called this on Raw once they mentioned, sorry, on SmackDown review, once they mentioned that it was Bloodline rules. Now, word has it now we didn't see the Usos at all. Apparently, they weren't actually
No.
scheduled to be there, according to Sean Ross Sapp or
Okay.
reports.
All right.
Now, we got Tama Tonga though, and Tonga Loa, and they did mention the Grills of Destiny name, that they are called the Grills of Destiny, so that's kind of cool. I noticed that on
Maybe
SummerSlam.
they're fighting for that trademark.
I think they are. That should be an interesting
But
fight.
anyways, so Owens and Orton come back and dispatch of the Gorillas of Destiny.
I'm sorry though. I want to say something though. When Kevin came down, Kevin was writing down to do it, right? Randy, I swear to God, was like slapping so many hands on his way down, having a good old time. I was like, this doesn't look like a typical run-in. Like
Yeah, it was like he was making his entrance.
literally.
Uh,
And well, what is them like RKOing Tonga Loa? They just love the RKO and like RKO Tonga Loa. It's quite hysterical. So they really love RKOing and stunning Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, but they sell it quite well actually. So at one point in the match, though, it looked like that was everybody was gonna come in until Jacob Fatu showed up.
well, so they did the callback to WrestleMania
Yeah,
where Cody Rhodes hit two crossroads. He went
yeah.
for the third, and Jacob Fatu came in, hit a super kick, and he put Cody through the announce table with a splash after Cody kicked out of the moonsault.
Yeah.
Um,
Word word
and
word is today. Jacob Fatu wasn't a walking boot.
he
Now
was in a boot.
they're saying that they're saying it's probably due to more just storyline purposes, but there might be a little more truth there than he took. I think it's more or less just a bruise on the femur. To be honest, with you. That's what it feels
Well,
like it is. But
he was selling the ankle,
yeah,
and yeah, so he was selling the ankle, and I think this was done so that the next part, Jacob didn't get railroaded by a returning Roman Reigns,
oh
who came
yeah,
out who came out with his WrestleMania 40 theme. That
Yep.
seems to be his new theme.
Yep.
And like you would swear Jesus just showed up.
Oh yeah. Like I'll be honest with you, it was so loud through the TV. I could barely make out what the music even was. That's how loud it was, to give you just an idea of how loud it was. Because I could hear the music, but I could barely make out what was going on as far as the music
For
goes.
sure. Yeah. And so Roman comes down. He was walking down at first, then he started jogging,
Yeah.
gets into the ring, immediately Superman punch to Solo,
Yeah.
gets in the corner, and the loudest ooh-ah I've
Oh
ever
yeah.
heard.
It was huge.
Like 57,000 people in unison.
Yeah.
And Roman hits the spear on Solo, gives Cody a nod, leaves. Cody hits a crossroads. Cody retains. Um,
And a giant stare down at the end. Now, who Roman
yeah,
was staring at looked like it was a bit. Looked like he was staring at all both men, Cody and Solo.
the
At
road
least
to War Games begins.
the road to World Games begins. That was SummerSlam, everybody. Now we're gonna start a new segment though. It's a little bit of a new segment, just probably just for pay-per-views. It's called What's Next. Basically, what I'm gonna do is we had the match that we had today. Now I'm gonna name off a match, and we're gonna give you say what we think what might happen next, and go from there. So we're gonna start off right away with obviously the returning chief, the tribal chief, Cody Rhodes. That's where we start first. So what's next, do you think, for those two guys? My guess is right now Cody takes Cody away from the whole bloodline stuff to move on towards other feuds. Like I'm thinking right now, Randy. And obviously Roman towards more of the bloodline stuff. That's probably gonna take him up to at least WrestleMania.
So yeah, I think this is where you do the Cody Orton feud
Yeah,
and have that wrapped up by November
yeah.
for Survivor Series because I've heard Cody may be involved in that War Games match
It's a
with the
good possible.
Bloodline.
It's a good possibility because if the return if the well the incoming of Hikuleo is to be believed, which it will be probably soon. He has signed. I don't see him going on the Roman Reigns side. I see him going on the side of Tamatonga and Tongaloa, right? Just because those are more family than anything else. So
Yeah.
he'll need a fifth person on that team. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on with that. So we take Cody, give that with Cody. I think Roman obviously does the bloodline stuff the next number of months.
Hmm.
They'll probably take the next 2 months though to probably try to build back up the original bloodline because there's gonna be a lot of trust there that has to be reconnected and all that stuff.
Well, so here's an angle no one's really
Sure.
thinking about. Roman was never drafted.
That's true. Roman can go to Raw if he wants to.
So you may see Roman pop up on Raw, maybe as soon as tomorrow, to try to recruit Jay.
That's very true. You may see that. I mean, I think though, on my smart, I think the best money. I think though,
I think Roman gets laid out by the bloodline first
I think yeah, I think
before he goes asking for help.
I think Friday. I think that happens Friday, and then Monday or maybe a week from after that Monday, you will see that. Because I'll be honest, I don't see Jay Uso coming back till at least this premiere of US on the USA Network of SmackDown October 2nd. That's I
September
think
2nd.
is it September 2nd, October, September,
Yeah, September.
right? I think maybe that's when you see Labor Day Monday, or whatever that SmackDown is, whatever the USA
Yeah.
Network one is. I think that's when you first see Jey Uso come back. So that's that one. Priest, Balor. Where do you think this is going to go? You think this goes off in
I
Berlin?
think Gunther has the main event of Berlin versus Dragonov. I
Okay.
think that's what they've been saving this for,
Okay.
because that's an international main event written all over it.
Absolutely does.
And I think Balor takes on Priest in Berlin.
That's what I think so too. I think that's probably the best bet. I'm interested to see where like Balor goes with this. Like I'm hoping it's the Prince Devitt, like AKA like Bullet Club Prince Devitt, because that was very similar to the NXT one. The NXT was very similar to that Bullet Club one. So I'll be interested to see where that goes. What's next for Rhea Ripley with Dom and Liv Morgan? Because I mean,
That's going to be a rematch somewhere down the line,
I
but I
think
think this ends with Rhea eventually
taking the time.
getting the title back.
I think Rhea, Bad Blood. That's what I
Yeah,
think she gets the title back.
possibly. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Bad Blood's circling to be a big show here.
there's Punk and Drew. I think that keeps going.
I think you have a few months worth of storytelling here, inserting Rollins into it.
Absolutely.
I think you get a Punk and Rollins match next.
Who do you think LA Knight's first feud is for the
Carmelo
U.S. title?
Hayes.
Here's Carmelo Hayes. I like to
Yep.
see Andrade.
Either
Yeah.
or
Sammy and Braun.
possibly Santos Escobar.
Yeah, he can do actually all three of those guys.
Yep.
Uh, Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. Braun's. I think Sammy.
I think Sammy gets a rematch on Raw in the next couple of weeks, and I think Braun beats him.
Yeah,
But I think Braun moves on to someone else.
and I think Sammy moves more towards that bloodline stuff with Jey Uso
Yeah, he
going forward
continues
there.
with the Jey Uso stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, Nia Jax, Bayley. Bayley, I'm sure will be fine. She'll probably take a little bit of time off. So
Yeah.
cash in. When do you think that cash is going to happen?
When is the cash in going to happen?
When do you suspect it?
Survivor Series.
You think Survivor Series?
If it didn't happen tonight, it's going to happen Survivor Series.
Really, that's the next biggest one because yeah. Because I mean, probably make the most sense. Because Bad Blood already be filled up with everything else that's already going to go on that we've talked about, like Punk and Drew, probably Cody and uh, Randy. My guess is.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have Bad Bloods be enough there. You don't need a cash in to actually make it even more
Mm-hmm.
exciting than it's going to be.
Yep.
So
With that all said, thank you all for listening. It's been our SummerSlam review. We'll be back Tuesday morning with our Raw review. Uh, if you're up in Canada, enjoy your civic holiday. Um, and until then, he is April1982 on Instagram. Andrew DA Sports on TikTok. I'm DLines1991 on Twitter, and we'll talk to you later.